So to just transition into the discussion, Martin and Jerome, welcome.
Thank you.
It's good to be doing this with you. So my first question is, I think I will direct it to Jerome. What does digital health look like for you in the Kenyan context? What does it entail?
Thank you so much, Rachel. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. That's much better. First off, I must say that I'm sad this morning because what do you mean we're supposed to have this discussion for 10 minutes? I think it's quite unfair, and yeah, if we actually are talking about adolescents and young people leading and taking charge and leading conversations, they equally deserve enough time, because initially we're supposed to have a discussion for 45 minutes and it's been compressed for 10 minutes. If you ask me, that's quite sad. So next time, ICASA should do justice to adolescents and young people. So digital health, first of all, we have health and then we have digital health. It's one and the same, but digital health is using my phone probably to Google something on health, using an app, using telemedicine, and we're seeing probably you are not able to go physically to a hospital, you can speak to a doctor on the phone. That is basically digital health. And in the context of Kenya, which I think is relatable to our African countries, is that we are digitally empowered on paper.
Yeah.
But at the community level, that's actually not a reality. Digital health in Kenya is shaping how adolescents and young people are accessing health, is shaping how adolescents and young people are accessing support, is shaping how adolescents and young people are actually accessing information at the comforts of wherever they are. You know, using my phone, using a USSD code, using a computer, at the comfort of wherever they are. And while there are good things about it, but there are also challenges. So in the context of Kenya, we have electronic medical systems, we have digital apps that we use, we have websites, but only a chunk of young people are able to utilize these systems, which is quite sad, but I'll pick it up in the next question.
Okay, so what are young people doing right now to navigate that? Because I understand the challenges of digital divide and all of that. So how are the young people in Kenya navigating all of these?
I think one of the things we are doing in Kenya, one is to challenge tech developers. I think we as young people are the most users of digital health spaces, yet we never design these spaces, yet we never even have control of these spaces. So young people are actually challenging tech developers to create and co-develop digital health apps with them, and not develop them separately from young people and expect us to just be the end users. Secondly, young people in Kenya are holding policymakers, our lawmakers, our decision makers accountable. We are a digital economy. That's what we say in our country. But the reality is the issue of digital divide is quite huge. Most young people, especially vulnerable young people in rural areas who don't have access to internet, electricity, even basic network, are not able to use digital health. So young people are stepping up to be able to challenge their leaders to actually not just say they will provide electricity, but ensure that that electricity is actually there. So social accountability in regards to digital health is also something that young people are doing.
Okay, thank you very much, Jerome. Martin, let me move to you quickly. We all understand that accessing health information online comes with its challenges, especially in our African context, where data issues, data privacy protection issues are not very clear. What I want to ask you is that how is this, the lack of safety, the lack of data protection, affecting how key population of young people seek health online?
Okay, so I'll start with stigma. Stigma is a very strong word, and it changes how young people seek for help in our setting. In the urban area, it's a bit different. because sometimes we are able to access healthcare and all that using digital service. But when you move to the rural area, it's a very big challenge. And also sometimes there are a lot of misinformation online where people living with HIV, especially young people and people from the marginalized community also are scared because of the misinformation that are online. Because if I go online and I see something that is concerning about HIV and I tend to probe further and I see something that is scary, I don't think I will have the strength or the courage to even access. Moreover, walking into the hospital already is a cost. That is something young people do struggle with. And also getting to the facility, and sometimes the health professionals are not even nice to you. It all boils down to stigma and discrimination. So these are some of the things that people living with HIV and also young people, especially the marginalized group, also face in dealing with such issues.
Okay, so still on that, I just want to quickly find out, do you think that maybe a young person living with HIV or a young person that belongs to the queer community would be afraid to access information around digital health online for fear of being outed? Yeah.
Yes, a lot of people are scared because some are even sharing technology or phones with either their partners or their family member or someone who is taking care of them. So maybe searching for something online, being a queer person, if you're a queer person and you are searching something online, the immediate thing that dawn in your mind is after searching, what if the person gets to find out about your search history? It's a really dicey and a very difficult thing. How are you even going to explain to your family if they don't even know about your sexuality or about your status? So it's a really big deal for, I mean, the queer community and also persons living with HIV.
Okay. So back to you, Jerome. I think our time is getting very closer, but I want to find out if there's one thing decision makers should take away from this conversation today, what should it be?
I think for me is that we need to look at digital health from a rights-based perspective, which is essential because digital health is digital health and rights. It's not just digital health, we've added rights onto it, meaning I also have digital rights, the safety, my data, is it protected, privacy, all these things, even access to digital health systems that exist. So for me is that we must think about digital health from a point of it upholding issues of trust, privacy, dignity, safety, so that young people can be able to actually make use of digital health spaces. When you look at the cost of moving from my home to a health facility that is kilometers away versus me sitting in my house and just speaking to a doctor, feeling safe in my own house, there's so much that happens and there's so much cost that a young person is able to save. So for me, it's those key important aspects of viewing digital health from a rights-based perspective.
Okay, and also a quick one. What is one thing you want young people listening to remember?
I am a Gen Z, and many of us are Gen Zs. I think one of the things I'm so proud about being a young person and a Gen Z in this generation is that we are very creative. We have the power, we are not scared to challenge systems and hold people accountable. So for me, is that we can develop our own apps. I mean, why not? For Africans by Africans, for young people by young people. But secondly, is that we have a lot of policymakers to hold accountable, and we should do that.
Okay, Martin, one thing you want young people to take from this conversation?
So before I get to the young people, I want decision makers or policy makers to understand that to make digital health succeed, we need to address inequality and also protect young ones and digital health right too as well. That's what I can say. And also young people, let's remember that our digital right is our right. So let's take up any opportunity that comes and also let's fight for our place in places like this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys, for joining us. It's quite sad that we had to squeeze all of this conversation into just 10 minutes, but I'm sure that this has been a very impactful session. And thank you to everyone for listening to us.
Let's give them a better round of applause. Indeed. You know, one thing that is a big discussion in Kenya, I'm from Kenya, and is the fact that we grew up with digital. It's the one thing that we never had to go to school for. It's like second nature, the same way we wake up and breathe. Young people in Kenya know all aspects about social media and digital. So um, that discussion was a very insightful discussion, and it does brew more and more out of it, especially in the youth spaces, even in certain organizations that I know that are taking up digital rights and digital health rights. And some people like myself who are here at ICASA this year because of digital and social media. So that was a lovely session. Thank you very much. I would like to open the floor for any Q&A, any questions that you have before the panelists leave the room and before we give the room to the next session. If anyone has any question, we have one up there. And we have another. We can take one last one. We have two so far. That's it? Nice one. We have another one here. Good. We can begin with the gentleman on my left. Yes?
Good morning, and sorry again for my voice. My name is Alex Zore, and I'm coming from Cote d'Ivoire. I have a question. This topic about digital health is very important because the whole world is actually moving to electronic and digital item. So my question is, how do you include the use, or how do you evaluate the use of AI? Because when we talk about digital health, it's all about Google app, about health. But how do you include, involve, or evaluate the use of AI in the community when it comes to educate yourself around HIV? We can see in some foreign countries, sometimes they don't even have to go to the hospital, even though it's very important. They can ask AI what medication I need to take, or what's the different step for PrEP and all this. So I just want to know how our panelists, they include the use of AI or evaluate the use of AI in their different community. Thank you.
Do we want to answer the questions one by one or move? You'll answer? You want to answer?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, awesome.
I think one of the biggest challenges with AI is that we are not the hosts of AI, and it's so much information. And if young people don't know how to properly, what are the right words?
Filter.
Sift or filter. Sift.
No, I'll find that word, guys. It's gone. But if a young person doesn't know how prompt AI properly, it will give you a lot of information that you might not be able to properly interpret. So one of the things we want to do, and we're already doing, is to help young people be able to know how to navigate digital health spaces properly, including AI or Google or whichever search engine one is using. So what are the right words, but also just directing them to the actual health websites that will give them information that is palatable for them to actually interpret and easy. You don't want to Google something and it tells you have cancer and probably you just have a diarrhea, because people end up panicking. Yeah, so I think that's one. So the other thing we are doing is also just working with tech developers as well, because like I said, we want them to think about the needs of the young people, not necessarily the profit they'll make out of an app or the data they will harvest because they have an app. So working with tech developers is also essential. And I know our governments are also linking our health systems with AI as well. So empowering even healthcare providers to be able to know how to use it properly. Yeah.
We'll have the next question, yes?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Bright Bejo from Ghana. from Jaska Municipal Assembly as HIV focal person. I like the discussion concerning the stigmatization if we come to the digital health service. I like that because a lot of people feel difficult coming to the hospitals in person to pick their drugs and other things. So if digital health should be used or encouraged, I think people will be willing to pick their drugs, if possible, online and use. But my issue is comparing the digital health and going to the facilities in person. I agree with the cost element that is involved, consultations and other things. For digital side, it will help. But with these two, which one will be better or worse for we, the vulnerables, or to see, to be appropriate for? Thank you.
Sir, that question was directed to the digital team that presented?
Yeah, I think if you could go over the question again, I missed it.
Kindly repeat your question.
Please kindly repeat your question.
So I'm just comparing the digital health service and then going to the facilities in person. Comparing these two, which one will be better to approach as a citizen, or let's say as a country? Thank you.
Okay, so I think that depending on where you are, I think both of them is good. So, for instance, in certain places, it is lack of accessibility to these health facilities that they rely on digital health tools to access healthcare. So, if you are in the place where getting to a health facility is easy, I would advise that you always go to the health facility, because even as people who have helplines that links people to health facilities, we can give you information, all right, but then when we give you the information, we try to link you to the closest health facility closest to you. So I think both would work depending on where you are, but due to the digital divide that we experiences that cuts across most of the African countries, if you have easy access to health facility, please use it. If you don't, then I think that is where relying on digital health tools comes in. Thank you.
Awesome. Go ahead. Guys, time.
Hello, good morning. I'm Dadlina Boateng, HIV focal person in Ghana. So my question is, how can we use the digital health to promote HIV healthcare in our communities? And how will the privacy of the people be protected with the use of the digital health?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. So the evolving of digital apps within the HIV response is something that Ghana is gradually approaching. As a matter of fact, I think the KP community is one of the spaces that is actually using the digital health approach in their response. But specifically for the HIV response, the National AIDS Control Program is doing their possible best to see how the community will accept that phase of the digital space. Yes. So when you come to, let's say, healthcare givers, nurses are being trained on the issue of stigma and discrimination within the health setting. How is this done? They are taking up online courses on HIV discrimination and stigma. in as much as when it comes to the reporting of stigma and discrimination cases, the Commission for Human Rights and Administrative Justice has put up an online reporting system. So this is where you fill out a form online. You don't need to actually see a person or write to somebody, but actually fill out that form and put in your issue. In the next 24 hours, somebody will respond to you. You'll be linked to either a peer paralegal or somebody within the commission to give you the assistance. But Ghana is currently taking that bit by bit step towards digital health and other, let's say, privacy and protecting our data as well. So thank you.
Thank you very much. In the interest of time, the next session is about to begin. If you have questions regarding the digital presenters that were here, you can approach them. Kindly raise your hand so that you can identify yourselves. And any other question that you might have, just approach the speakers as we leave the room. I would like to leave the room to the next session. Thank you very much for joining us. The youths, dearly, dearly thank you for coming to hear our pieces, and we would love you to join us in further discussions around the topics that have been presented here. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day.